This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Hi everyone, Thao here. Alright, so this is the brand new ZTE Axon 40 Ultra. And yeah, at a glance, it's essentially a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra lookalike. But there is one big cosmetic difference here. This features ZTE's third generation under-display selfie camera, giving it a truly immersive screen. We're looking at a 6.8-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with curved edges and a refresh rate that can automatically flip between 60 or 120 Hz. Even if you're perfectly fine with a hole punch, you cannot deny just how good the screen looks without one. Come on now. It just looks better. Look really closely and you can sort of make out the outline of the camera, but otherwise you wouldn't even know it's there. Alright, so they did a good job hiding the cameras, but what are the selfies like? Yeah, it's still not that great. It's actually pretty underwhelming when you compare it to a proper selfie camera. This literally feels like a camera from like 10 to 15 years ago. Unfortunately, that's just a trade-off for these under-display cameras right now. If you like your selfies, this ain't gonna cut it. Paired with that awesome all-screen display are dual stereo speakers tuned by DTS. The cutout at the top here made me think that that's where the top speaker was, but no. It's actually where the earpiece is. Some sound does come through the cutout and there is a mic in there, but yeah, not an actual speaker. I'd rank the sound quality a notch below top-end Samsung and Apple devices. I'd like more bass, and at high volumes, the sound can pierce your ears a little bit, which, isn't ideal. But overall, the speakers complement the screen quite nicely. There's also an optical fingerprint scanner under the display. I do like the location because that's where my thumb naturally lands. This one works really well, so no complaints from me. So we know the phone's design isn't gonna win any awards for originality, but at least they changed up the finish. It has a soft matte texture that almost shimmers when light hits it. I like it. For the most part, you're looking at a typical top-end Android phone in terms of specs, but it does lag behind in a couple of areas. The phone only has an IP52 water/dust resistance rating, and it doesn't support wireless charging. Considering that even mid-range phones these days are rated IP68 and can charge wirelessly, I'd like to see both on here too. Another highlight, at least on paper, is that there are three 64 megapixel cameras on the back. The main camera takes pictures that are equivalent to a 35mm lens, meaning they're a little more zoomed in than a typical smartphone camera. For example, here's the main lens compared to the Z Fold 3. The telephoto lens gives you 2.6 times optical zoom and up to 40 times digital. This actually turned out to be my favorite lens on the phone. I really like the extra reach for framing subjects, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun to use. This phone also has a ton of camera modes. It actually might be too many, but one of my favorites is multi-camera. Basically, it lets you hit the shutter once and capture a picture from all three lenses at the same time. Such a cool way to capture multiple perspectives in one shot. One annoyance you might have noticed is that there is a big color temperature difference between all three lenses, which is obviously not ideal. Overall, while I'm not blown away, I've been pretty satisfied with the pictures taken on this phone. I think they've done a good job not overdoing the processing and keeping things more true to life. HDR can be very hit or miss though, and you'll get a ton of blown highlights, especially with backlit scenes. One of the software bugs I've run into is with the video recording. Whenever I try to switch to the telephoto lens, the camera app crashes every single time. So yeah, I can't really show you any video samples from that lens at all. ZTE says that you can technically record up to 8K video on every lens, which is impressive, but probably overkill for most of us. What I do like is that it can actually do 4K at 120 frames per second. Then when you go to view your footage, you can choose which parts of the video you want to slow down for that slow-mo cinematic look. But anyways, while you check out some 4K video filmed with this phone, let me quickly talk about today's video sponsor, Surfshark. So Surfshark is a VPN that encrypts all your data before it goes over the internet. So people you don't want having access to your personal information won't have access to it, especially relevant on sketchy public Wi-Fi. One of my favorite features is that you can use Surfshark to access content that might be blocked in your country. As a Canadian, I love that I can watch shows from the US, maybe South Korea, or just anywhere I want. And there's no limit to the number of devices you can connect at once. So keep the whole family secure too. Click the link below and use my promo code Thao. You'll get 83% off and 3 months completely free. The phone runs Android 12 with ZTE's MyOS 12 skin on top. If you've never used a ZTE phone before, the automatic assumption is that, oh, it's gotta be full of third-party apps and other bloatware, right? But this is one of the cleanest phones when it comes to pre-installed apps. There's only like 2 ZTE apps that you can't uninstall, but hey, at least you can disable them. Diving into the settings, I actually like that they've made things a little more visual by adding large images of the different options. Like, for example, you can change up the animation speed and even the icon shapes. This is far from the most feature-packed skin I've tested, but they've thrown in a couple of really handy ones that I can see a lot of people actually using. This shake to turn on the flashlight is something I wish more phones had. In the box, you'll also get a 65-watt charging brick, a USB-C cable, a headphone dongle, and a fairly basic clear case. This phone has a 5000 milliamp hour battery, and I've been ending most days with like 30 to 40% left. Charge times are great too. You'll get about 40% in 15 minutes, 70% in 30 minutes, and a full charge should take just around 45 minutes. A big part of why I think the battery has been so good is that the adaptive refresh rate on here is really aggressive. Most third-party apps that support and would normally run at 120 Hz on other phones run at 60 Hz on here. I've tried locking the refresh rate to 120 Hz for a couple of days, and yeah, the battery does drain more, but still gets me through a day. Like anything else, there's pros and cons here. You're getting likely the most immersive screen on a phone and pretty good camera hardware too, with the triple 64 megapixel lenses. Unfortunately, the under display camera takes very underwhelming selfies. It's missing a couple of flagship features and the phone needs an update or two to clean up some of the bugs. At the suggested retail price, there's just so many question marks around their update policy. ZTE informed me that you can expect security patches every 3 months, but no confirmation on anything outside of that. But hey, if you're okay with the drawbacks and want to experience this awesome screen for yourself, I'll put it this way. I don't think you'll be disappointed by it. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'm out here.